Oh, look out now, coming at you live from a place that can only be described as a stash house for Pepperidge Farm delivery boys. It's the Bourbon and Banter podcast, the biggest and most honest podcast in all of bourbon. That's right, friends and neighbors, we got everything you need to drink curious right here. So sit back, grab a pour, and check your feelings at the door, because we're here to lay it down for you as only Bourbon and Banter can. Folks, let me tell you, we're into a brand new year, and we got to admit something. The most honest boys in bourbon went into a Christmas cookie coma during the holidays after discovering a stash of vintage cookies from the 1983 Christmas season. We found that in the back of Pops' family estate in parts unknown Missouri. We got everything from bourbon balls to rum raisin cookies, and the whiskey used to make them actually helped maintain their freshness. But it also continued to strengthen and improve. So unbeknownst to us, the 5 dozen cookies a day we were eating rendered us knocked out by day 3. We awoke sometime in early February, refreshed, albeit slightly hungry until we got over to the barbecue joint. Anyway, that's where we've been, in a cookie coma of the whiskey kind. But we're back here to bring you the most honest commentary in bourbon, so sit back. Here we go.
Well, welcome back, Bob. It is fantastic to see you as always, brother. How you been?
Likewise. We got a little bit of the Rumpelstiltskin going on with the beards there after that coma, but we're good. Good.
Holy shit. Tell me about it. Those bourbon balls, they knocked my ass out.
I know. I kept, it was weird because you kept getting all of the, anise of the cookies and the marzipan cookies were particularly good. They were wrapped in, it looked like an ascot, but I didn't know. It's from 1983, so I think maybe people were wearing them back then. But
I think so. But speaking of bourbon balls, I just, as a quick segue, because you threw it into that intro, I've always thought that that'd be like a great product name for like a men's skincare or hygiene ring. You got the lawnmower trimmer now that everybody's using and whatnot, but I was like bourbon balls, deodorants, skin lotion. You know something?
Yeah, we need to send that over to Louisville's own Jim Cornette, and he'll figure out a way to put that into one of his promos for that very product. So I'm sure that can happen.
Well, I'm thrilled to be back here recording with you, bourbon balls and all. It's still a little chilly out, so you got to keep ourselves warm so we don't have a little chafing skin protection issues there. But New Year, we're off to a big start. Whiskey waits for no one, so we got a hell of a lot of stuff to get into today. But I want to kick it off real quick just with a members community update like we always do, just to let people know that the Drink Curious community is going well. And over the holidays, it was like Banta came and delivered, I actually did the math here, a little over 2 tons of private barrel selections. We had 6 different brands that we picked come in over the holidays.
I told my wife, I said, look, we did this stuff all year long. But I came walking in with this pallet of bourbon, and I said, this is only because all of them decided to come at the same damn time. And, it's nice when you get that. It's very rare, folks, that you're going to go out and grab all those different bottles and all of them be winners. But we got some damn winners here, boy. Let me tell you that right now. If you are not part of the Drink Curious community and do not have access to these private barrels, we got some fantabulous things. Let me tell you that, folks.
Well, I mean, kind of in fitting with our biggest podcast of all of bourbon, I mean, 2,300 pounds, I think I estimated on the low end of barrel picks that came in. Specifically, let's start with the ones that are not that unusual, right? We had a Knob Creek pick come in, and we had a Maker's Mark private selection came in that we nicknamed the Loretto Majeska in honor of our friend at Kelly at Art Eatables for her Majeskas that she makes. And we know she didn't come up with the Majeska, for those of you who are saying, hey, I've been eating those all my life. But damn, she's perfected them. I mean, they're delicious.
That's right. She's perfected it. She may not own the name, but when I think Majeska, I think of those Art Eatables Majeskas. And if anybody has a problem with that, you know where to find Pops.
That's right. And I will personally take you to Bob's house. And let you sit on his front porch. So those were the, I'll call the more normal picks. But additionally, with that, we had 4 other private picks. One was from our friends at Spirits of French Lick. We did a barrel pick of their Lee W. Sinclair, which is their 4-grain bourbon, which is fantastic. It's the youngest in the group, but still a delicious example of Alan Bishop's house style there at the distillery. Then we also did a pick from Traverse City Distilling Company. That was an MGP rye, 95.5 rye. But It's really, really special. Once again, they pulled a lot of samples for us that day, and they told us that there was one that they thought was amazing in the group, and if we didn't pick it, they were going to pick it. Fortunately, we picked it, we found it, we brought it to you guys, and we actually are able to deliver that. It's a little over 8 years old, so it's not often you get an 8-year-old MGP rye that stands out like this one does.
And I'm not, as Pops will tell you, and as I have told you, I'm not a fan of the 95.5 rye. But this is fantastic. It has me questioning all the other things I would think about rye whiskey. So, yeah, this one is really fantastic.
Along with that, we did the one I've been shooting for years, and you as well, Wyoming whiskey. All right, Steve Coombs and I took a trip out there, and we picked a barrel, and we finally got that one delivered, and it's outstanding. It has all the hallmarks, the rustic taste, flavor profile of Wyoming whiskey with that big hint of orange citrus that really brings it home. And, you know, my wife is not one for drinking bourbon neat, but I think she's drank about half a bottle of that over a single cube. She really, really likes it as well.
And that rustic, you know, those rustic notes from Wyoming, that's not from any of the buffalo patties that are out there. They didn't track any of that stuff through into the barrel. So trust me, this is cleaned and shipped to us from Wyoming. It is fantastic. It's unlike any other wheated bourbon that you have. So we encourage you to check out that Wyoming whiskey pick if there's any left of it.
And then the one that I think is getting the most rave reviews was our single barrel pick from KO Distilling. This was an MGP rye, lower rye mash bill, and this is absolutely amazing. It's about 7.5 years old, aged entirely in Kelvin cooperage barrels in Virginia. They had the liquid toted out there and put in barrels there. This, man, is fantastic, and everyone who's trying it is like, holy crap. And we may have a couple bottles left, I'm not sure. But if there are any left and you don't get in on this as soon as possible, you're going to wish you did, because this is coming up to legendary status. That's the kind of feedback I'm getting from people. And it is dark like motor oil, man. It's unbelievable.
And, you know, they're not shy about telling you where it comes from. So we're fortunate that we've got 2 MGP barrel strength, one rye, one bourbon, but are different than any other of those MGP barrel strengths that you had, no matter what label's on them. This KO is incredibly unique, as is the Traverse City Rye. You know, I think that Pops was telling you or Brent, I can't remember who was telling me that, you know, Bill Carlson, one of the co-owner at KO, actually, you know, would spend. He's very dedicated to the craft, and he's got a mattress out there at the distillery that he would sleep. You know, spend a couple nights a month sleeping near the barrels to make sure that they felt warm and held, and it helped to actually infuse just the genuine aura of KO into those barrels. Don't read anything into that. Don't take it out of context. No, but, you know, so we appreciate Bill going the extra mile. I think it was a Serta King Comfort is what it was. Yeah.
Well, I think you're onto some. He is definitely what I call a deep thinker, and when he talks, he's very intentional. So his presence around any barrels are going to really make them stand out. But you get a point. We got some fantastic stuff in. You know, we've been talking a lot in the community about have single barrels kind of reach a saturation point now, in the fact that they're less and less standouts in the field, right? So if everybody can get single barrels, they're not special anymore. So one of the things that we are committed to, whenever possible, is to really seek out these things that are different. And we're not afraid to turn down a barrel pick if it's not meeting our specifications. The last thing we want to do is bring a product to you that tastes like something you can get off the shelf. So that's our commitment. And if you haven't joined up to get access to these, please do. You go to drinkcurious.com/community, learn all about the Drink Curious community, the different membership levels we have you can join. Now, here's the cool thing. If you become a member, all right, you get these barrels below retail price, and we have a way to ship these to you nationwide from our retail partner. If you're not a member, when we have some surplus left, we'll send an email out. If you're on our just general Bourbon and Banter mailing list, we'll send it out. But please, when you get that email, don't come bitching to me if you can't get it shipped to you because you're not a member. All right? They ship to a lot of states, but if you're a member, we can get those to you. So join up. It's a small investment. You're going to get access to lots of really cool barrels. You're going to get nationwide shipping. And more importantly, you're going to get a lot more perks and benefits from being part of this community as we continue to grow. And we are waiting on words on a few more barrel picks. And hopefully we'll be back in the Louisville area this spring. And if so, we're going to have a nice little meetup in person and bring everyone together and drink lots and lots of bourbon. So that's drinkcurious.com/community. All right. So the other thing I want to call out real quick, Bob, before we dive into some whiskey news is Bourbon and Banter's birthday is coming up, if you can believe that. February 21st will be the 11th anniversary of the first post on the website. Hard to believe.
Happy birthday to us.
That's right.
Happy birthday to us. You know the rest of the song, so I ain't fucking singing.
I just don't know how to respond to that. So what I'll say is that's the anniversary.
A lot of people say that.
That's right. That's the anniversary of the blog. Our Facebook page was launched a year plus or so before that. And then the foundation of Bourbon Banter was Whiskey Club, Bourbon Club at the place that I worked. And that started back in 2008. So we're chugging along, been at this a long time. So what does that mean for you, our readers and our listeners and our community members? Well, it means big changes are coming. After doing something for 11 plus years, you can imagine, you can get tired, you can get worn out. You still have a lot of fun. The industry changes. When we started the blog, there were only a handful of us out there doing anything on a consistent basis. And now there's tons of influencers and Instagram, people putting content out. There's a ton of stuff out there. So we're constantly evaluating how do we bring something of value to the community while staying up on consumption trends. So we're going to have some exciting announcements over the next month or so to bring out about what the future of Bourbon and Banter looks like, how that works with Drink Curious community and the drinkcurious.com website with our tastings and our classes. So stay tuned for that. And we'll bring that news to you guys first. If you're on our mailing list at bourbonbanter.com, you'll know before anyone else. So hopefully you'll enjoy what we have in store for our birthday. And if not, well, Bob will hunt you down.
To hell with you. That's right. To hell
Bob
with
will
you.
hunt you down before you shot him, Lord.
One thing we can guarantee you, no matter what you got coming from Bourbon and Banter, you can guarantee one thing. It will be honest, truthful, and there will be no bullshit unless we decide to call it bourbon bullshit.
All right. With that said, Bob, I think it's time to dive into the whiskey headlines. All right, folks, time to check out some headlines. It's been a hot second since we've done this podcast, so we're not going to try to catch up on everything because a 4-hour podcast would be a no-no, and I don't quite frankly think I can stay sober that long if I keep drinking.
No, we can't. Let's not.
So we're just going to hit a few highlights and know that we'll add a little bit more in next time. The first thing is exciting news out of Woodford Reserve. They just recently named Elizabeth McCall their new master distiller. And Chris Morris is moving to the emeritus master distiller position. So this is exciting because she is going to be the third master distiller in the brand's 26-year-old history. Chris has been there a long time, so it's big news when he's stepping aside to let her take over. She's been training in that role for, I think they said, a little over a decade. And so she's going to be leading the brand's special and rare bourbon releases, including the Masters Collection and the Distillery Series, and bringing her unique touch and point of view to new whiskeys. Chris Morris started mentoring her back in 2015 when she became Master Taster, and then she became the Woodford Reserve Assistant Master Distiller just 5 years ago. So congratulations to Elizabeth on that promotion. Congratulations to Chris for moving to his emeritus position. So it'll be really exciting to see what the next generation of master distiller brings to the brand. But this brings a big question up, Bob, that we were talking about before the show, and I have to kind of throw this out there because I've heard this in chatter online and in our community, is Elizabeth is going to be the next woman who's taking on a senior leadership position in this organization. Will she stick around?
That is the million-dollar question. This is, they've had several women in prominent positions at Brown-Forman, and they've all left. So is she going to be there for a while? Is she going to stick around? We hope so. I'm looking forward to seeing what is coming down the pike from Elizabeth McCall.
Absolutely. So good luck. We're going to see what we have from her, and then I'm curious to see how this is going to evolve Chris's role and affect some of the other brands in the family's portfolio. So congratulations to everyone involved, and stay tuned for more.
One of the things I heard is that Chris, because he was distilling so much, he could never really grow the mustache to the Raleigh Fingers handlebar like he wanted to, and so he's really looking forward, apparently, to doing that. So I look forward to seeing Chris with that look.
Well, maybe if he inserts some other brands into his portfolio now for drinking at home, that can boost that. Maybe we should send him a bottle of our KO distilling bottle. That's like 136.
There you go. Yeah, it's the bare knuckle. It's even got the picture of the guy with a mustache right on it there.
That's right. I've started putting it on my head, and I'm slowly getting a little hair in my head now.
Yeah, it's a mohawk though. Weird, Pops. I don't know how that's
I don't
going
know.
up like that. You're looking like that guy from Gremlins.
It's that 0.6 proof.
Spike.
It's a 0.6 in the proof number that's throwing it off balance.
Oh, is that what's throwing off balance? Okay,
is,
well, there you go.
Not like I'm putting Fireball in my hair or anything.
No. But speaking of, we were reading about a lawsuit that said the label misleads consumers. Fireball
what, that it's a
cinnamon
good
producer.
Product?
Yeah, well, that's what can you say to that? There's no lie there. Fireball cinnamon producer sued in a class action lawsuit has been brought against Giant Sazerac over the Fireball brand. The lawsuit alleges that Fireball cinnamon beverage is misleading due to its packaging, which is very similar to Fireball cinnamon whiskey, which is a different product. So Fireball cinnamon and Fireball cinnamon whiskey are different products.
Who the fuck
but
knew that?
They both taste like shit.
Clearly, that's the problem. Nobody knew that.
No one knew that, So apparently, Fireball Cinnamon is a malt beverage that contains no whiskey. I was surprised Fireball Cinnamon whiskey contained whiskey, but apparently they released that in 2020, and it's 16.5 ABV, which is half of the original Fireball Cinnamon whiskey's 33% ABV. So 66 proof. Is it whiskey? No. Is it whiskey flavored water?
It's a whiskey specialty product.
Specialty, but the complaint alleges that the front label of Fireball Cinnamon is identical to that of Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey. This is the most that I've ever said the word Fireball on this fucking podcast. So the lawsuit takes umbrage with the label's fine print phrasing, and using the words with natural whiskey and other flavors is a clever turn of phrase because consumers who strain to read this will see how natural whiskey is distinct from other flavors, the lawsuit states. They will think the product is a malt beverage with added, number 1, natural whiskey, and 2, other flavors. I don't care what flavors are added to it. None of them are good. So it looks to cover anybody in Illinois, North Dakota, Wyoming, Idaho, Alaska, Iowa, Mississippi, Arkansas, Kansas, Arizona, South Carolina, or Utah who purchased Fireball Cinnamon during the statute of limitations period. Those states.
A lot of fucking Fireball being sold in Utah.
That's right. If you bought that shit in one of those states that I just mentioned, you might have, I don't know, what are you going to be getting from Sazerac? Like 36 cents?
36 cents.
What the fuck? Yeah,
wow.
Something like that.
Yeah, so much here. I just got to pause for a hot second, no pun intended, with that cinnamon. Just for those of you who can't see anything, which is all of you, Bob just spit his whiskey out. That's pretty classic.
Yeah, almost got me on a spit take there.
I can't wait till we start really videoing these. It'd be great. So I love this. They're like people. They're tricking people, basically saying that there's natural whiskey flavor in this. And first of all, I'm sorry if you think the word natural belongs anywhere on a Fireball label, you're screwed. It's a non-starter for me. But what's funny is you have to ask yourself, because I didn't know this product existed, as you didn't.
I didn't either.
We're not Fireball consumers. So, my first thing was, why does this exist? And then reading the thing, it talks about it that this gives them a product to sell in liquor stores or gas stations or places that can't sell distilled spirits, because being a malt beverage, it falls into more line with malt beverages and beer and things like that, right? So this gets around the legal loophole. So you can't get your Fireball because you can't have liquor in the liquor store, but you can have beer and malt liquor. This is the solution. So clever, Sazerac. We've never accused them of not being clever and smart, but this is pretty fucking funny that this little cheap-ass thing that you buy by the shop is causing a class action lawsuit. So once again, if you want to know anything about the American culture, just look at the shit we do class action lawsuits around. Hot coffee, Fireball.
Yeah. I'm laughing because, it's one of the few times I've heard Sazerac getting sued as opposed to being the suer. They are the suee.
Right.
Which reminds me, you couldn't even get a pig to drink this shit, so.
Well, there you go, folks. If you are one of these people affected by this, go get your money. And second of all, why the fuck are you listening to this podcast? Just saying.
There you go.
All right. Well, longtime listeners are aware that Bob and I have had some tussles with that country that we like to call South Africa. Mostly about during their pandemic laws regarding booze and all the trouble that it created. But we've now realized that apparently there's been some sort of repatriation, or I don't even know what you call it. You know, people have moved from one country to another to run the bureaucracy, because Canada is making the news now regarding their what's being called their new drastic alcohol guidance. And I shared this in our community, and I said, I'm going to file this under another reason not to move to Canada. And so for those of you who have that list that you're keeping track of and why you're not going to move north of the border, file this one on there. Apparently in Canada, the article says, in Canada, it should be dry January all year round, according to the new national recommendations that say zero alcohol is the only risk-free approach. So apparently, previous guidance from the government had said that maximum of 10 drinks a week for women and 15 for men were going to be considered fairly safe, right? Like, you can do that. You know, it's not super healthy, but that's our guidance. Now they've dropped that down to just 2 drinks a week maximum is deemed low risk. And most of the people behind the paper are actually saying that it should be zero. It took a 90-page report for them to explain this to people. And they appear to be pushing hard for this. And, you know, on the heels of evidently Scotland is getting a lot of steam to push a new ban on all alcohol advertising. I find this extremely frustrating, because I'm one of those people that understands and knows that pretty much everything is out to kill me. Bacon, you know, fresh air, you know, light bulbs.
Stupidity.
They're all going to kill me. So I want the right to be able to choose the things that are going to kill me and how much of that I consume, right? So this one really bothers me, Bob, but I think you had some take on it about the people involved with this or something.
Well, you know, so yeah, what I heard is that the gentleman who was the vice president over South Africa's TTB has relocated to Canada. So it doesn't surprise me at all that this is being enacted here. But I mean, what the fuck? You know, do people have that much to do that you think that telling people that you're going to have 2 drinks a week, more than that, terrible. I wonder how is this going to infect, you know, health insurance in Canada.
Oh, yeah,
if they
right?
say that people, well, we're going to deny your claim because you had 3 drinks in the 3rd week of February 6 years ago or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's...
Well, they say it's going to be a rude awakening.
A lot of resources wasted here.
A rude awakening for the roughly 80% of Canadian adults who drink. And there you have it, folks. So once again, in our own country, they never thought we'd wind up in prohibition, and there we were. So we're hoping that...
Well, how the hell are you supposed to stay warm up there?
I know, right? Exactly. Well, you just can't drink it. You can rub it on your body. I guess that's something.
I don't know. What happens?
Then the'll be a study about the skin cancer that it creates.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're sitting out there ice fishing and shit. How do you expect to stay warm?
I don't know. I mean, once again, I'm with you. There's better things to be spending our money on. I think, you know, bottom line, the people that are drinking so much that there's a problem, they don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
And no study's going to tell them that that's going to change anything about what they're doing. So
exactly. Well, you know, some people are going to be proud of that report and happy, but you know what? Those people need to come back down to our country, because we got a whole...
Well, take the Catholics out of it. So, you know, you take the church out of it and just focus on the other folks.
Hey, we're just the ones known. Let me just make it very clear. We do not own all the drinking. We just own all the drinking on church grounds. That's all I'm going to say. Don't think the Baptists aren't drinking. They're just not drinking in church.
Hey, let me ask you this. If somebody goes to Mass 3 times a week and they take the communion thing and they drink that horseshit wine or whatever, you know, they're doing, so does that mean that they're being terrible for themselves? You know, they had 3 drinks of wine that week. Oh, Lord.
But maybe that plays into this next thing, titled, Think You Drink a Lot. This chart will tell you. I stumbled across this article, and it was a chart of alcohol consumption in the U.S., and this one blew my mind. And it was like, do you drink a glass of wine with dinner every night? That puts you in the top 30% of American adults per capita alcohol consumption. If you drink 2 glasses, that would put you in the top 20%. But, okay, to break into the top percent of American drinkers, this is the elite of the elite drinkers, right? You would need to drink more than 2 bottles of wine with every dinner. And you'd still be below average among those top 10 percenters. So to be in the top percent of American drinkers, okay, which... to put that in raw numbers is 24 million adults over the age of 18. They consume, on average, 74 alcoholic drinks per week. 7.4.
Jesus Christ. How many boxes of Franzia is that?
Holy crap. That's 4.5 750 ml bottles of Jack Daniels, 18 bottles of wine, or 3 24-can cases of beer in 1 week.
Fifths of whiskey.
All right, but put it in the beer, because I think the majority of these are probably beer drinkers.
Well, actually, you know something? 18 bottles of wine is a lot. I mean, that actually looks worse to me. 3 cases of beer, you know, if it's hot outside and you're drinking some bullshit.
72 cans of beer a week, which is...
Well, Andre the Giant drank 106 beers in a sitting, so that wasn't shit for him.
But see, I can imagine some people sitting around and drinking 10 to 12 beers a night. Or a day.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see that,
right?
I'm
know
not saying
people
it's
who have
healthy.
done that, and they weren't intoxicated at all.
Right.
They were true professionals.
But I'll tell you what, this is some serious echelon numbers. These, you know, when we talk about the people who should get paid for their performance, it's not the NFL players. You know, we're recording this on the big game day, right? It's not these athletes who run up and down a field for 2 hours. It's the people who continually are taking abuse to their kidneys and their liver, drinking 72 cans of beer a week. Those are the true athletes.
Yeah, we're recording this on Super Bowl Sunday, which just goes to show you that neither one of us give a fuck about football. Although I'll say go Chiefs.
There you go.
I got friends in Philly, and I may take a cheesesteak over some ribs, but I'm not sure. I will say that this Super Bowl, Philly and Kansas City, is the ultimate Super Bowl for fat guys in terms of food. You got KC ribs, you got cheesesteaks in Philly, you got fried good shit in both places.
Oh, fantastic.
Just go be a glutton and say fuck it and enjoy your day, folks.
It's the one day a year that I actually sit down and watch a game with my daughter. Every year it's a tradition. Eat a bunch of shitty food. I'm going to have a nice buzz coming off the podcast. So we'll see who wins. But I'll tell you what, I will not even make a dent to get into the top 10% here. So, hey, folks, if you're listening and you think you're at this elite level, one, I hope you're okay. Honestly, we need to drink responsibly. But if you are, drop us a note, podcast@bourbonbanter.com, and tell me, what's your mix? How do you reach these numbers? And let me know that psychologically behind it, because it's a little worrisome. You know, once again, I don't want to ban anything in Canada, but maybe we can teach you to drink a little bit of bourbon and not so much beer, right? And kind of, it'll be a win-win for everybody involved. So drop us a note. Let us know what you think. And remember, it doesn't pay to be a 10%er. All right. With that said, I think it's time to switch a little bit of gears, right? And we're going to talk about a few of the latest whiskey releases. Kicking things off, we're going to start off. Heaven Hill has announced their 2023 Heritage Collection release, which is going to be a corn whiskey, believe it or not. No, it's not mellow corn, just rebadged, relabeled. Or is it? This year's release is actually going to be a 20-year-old age-stated corn whiskey. The mash bill is identical to mellow corn at 80% corn, 12% malted barley, and 8% rye. And it's bottled at a stout 115 proof. Okay, these barrels were set back in October 2002. So if you have a child who was born then, this will make the perfect gift for them. If you don't mind the suggested retail price of $289.99 per bottle, once again, assuming you can get your hands on this precious, precious corn juice.
Now, didn't Coombs taste that like a couple years ago? Or didn't we know somebody who tasted, they heard about this thing and it was supposed to be phenomenal?
Yeah, Steve Coombs had heard that there was some hyper-aging, or long-aging corn whiskey sitting in Heaven Hill, and that it was really, really good stuff. But I don't believe he ever get a chance to taste it. And the thing with corn whiskey is that it's corn. I mean, there's a lot of corn in there, and typically the corn whiskey, as it starts to get older, it's not always the great stuff. But I've heard through a few different people in the industry that as it gets kind of past that middle aging realm, it can actually then start getting more flavorful over time. So it's kind of like this, lots of corn flavor up front, kind of rough, you know, the mellow corn. I mean, mellow corn, right? It's under $20 a bottle. The bartender's friend, if you believe the marketing around it. Not a big fan of it myself. But this, you know, is going to be significantly older. That's because mellow corn is bottled in bond, so it's 4 years old, I believe. Exactly. So this is 16 years older. Now, I just happen to have a pour of it in front of me, Bob. That I got.
Oh, do you know?
I got a sample sent to me 2 days ago.
Well, so, look at you fancy ass.
Well, you know, as soon as we get back together in person, you are going to benefit from my mail calls.
Well, there you go. There you go. Be interested to see what this is like. I mean, like I've had a box of cornflakes in back in my grandfather's cupboard. It's been there for about 25 years, but I tried those the last time I was there, and they were not good. They didn't age well.
You know what the perfect long aging snack is from corn, other than popcorn? Corn nuts. Corn nuts taste the same. 5 years old, 30 years old.
Corn, yeah, I don't know that I've ever even had a corn.
Well, you might be surprised with this, Bob, but there's a big strong dash of corn in the nose, but sweet corn.
Is there now?
Sweet corn. A little bit of caramel in there, but almost like watered down. Nose is pleasant. It's not overpowering, but there's obviously a good amount of ethanol in there, the alcohol level. Tastes solid. Very light. Corn. A little bit of light oak. You know, not nearly the amount of oak that you would expect to have on a 20-year-old whiskey. I mean, quite frankly, it's tasty. It's good, but it's not like big, bold, strong bourbon flavor. So it's much more nuanced. And for me, it just reminds me a little bit that you take a good corn-heavy mash bill, like a traditional bourbon mash bill, and just added a lot of water to it and kind of lightened it up a little bit. And that's what I kind of get from it. So once again, I think it's kind of fun to taste a 20-year-old corn whiskey. And it's definitely drinkable. I would have no problem drinking it, but you know me, I'm an asshole. And so $289 or whatever this is per bottle, it's a lot of fucking money. So I would immediately rank this as a bar pour that you can get it. And, I'd pay a premium just to try it, just to have it off my bucket list and give it a chance because it's good. You're not going to dislike it. You're only going to dislike it if you bought it for $300 and weren't willing to share it with everybody else. So that's my quick review of it. I'll do a little bit more in-depth of a review here shortly and share it with everyone, but that's kind of my quick take on that. So not bad, but I can do a lot with $300, my friend. I can do a lot.
I'm going to leave that one alone there, Pops, because I'm just not,
All right. Well, Heaven Hill also announced the release of Bernheim Wheat Barrel Proof. This is going to be their first national release of the Bernheim Wheated Barrel Proof Bourbon. This is, they were the first ones to use winter wheat as the primary grain, creating a soft, sweet, approachable flavor. There's no chill filtration on this one, so it's straight from the barrel. So all of you Barrel Hawks, Barrel Proof fans are going to really, really love this. It is nationally going to be allocated and 2 batches a year. Okay, so they'll be doing that. This is made from 51% wheat, 37% corn, and 12% malted barley. And this first batch is bottled at a stout 118.8 proof. And it's going to be hitting stores by the end of February, so keep an eye out on that. And the retail price is going to be $65. Now, this one...
Now, that's exciting for me. I'm very interested to try this.
This one in comparison, because the bottle showed up the day after the other one, totally different, right? Darker, more flavor, more caramel, more vanilla, more of that wheat-forward grain flavor that you like in a good wheated whiskey. I thought years ago when the Parker's Heritage Collection had the wheated whiskey as it's one that it got screwed out of Whiskey of the Year from Whiskey Advocate. I think they named Stag the Whiskey of the Year again that year. But the wheated whiskey was fantastic. So I've been long waiting for something to come out like this one. I've had a sample of the Bernheim cast strength before, and it didn't do a lot for me. This version, I've had the chance to have it open for a couple days, and I'm liking it more and more as it opens up a little bit. I tend to find that the wheated mash bill on this one just needs a little bit of time to kind of open up and mellow out a little bit, but I'm growing into a fan of it. And for $65 a bottle, you can't go wrong. So this is a strong bottle purchase if that's what you're into, and hopefully there'll be enough for us common folks to get a bottle when we go into the store. So definitely check that one out when you can, folks. I think you'll be very, very happy with that purchase. And buy 2 if you can't find the other one, right?
There you go.
Drown yourself in your sorrows, right? Work toward that 10%.
As a side note, as you continuing through these new releases, I just poured a little of that KO barrel picker. Jesus Christ, man, that KO is good. Folks, I mean, we say this and we are fans, but son of a bitch, that's good. If you've got a way to do it, if we've got any left, you better grab some of that KO barrel pick from Bourbon and Banter. I'm telling you right now, that is damn tasty.
Well, that shit's gone.
Speaking of barrel picks that are going to be coming up eventually, the next folks you're looking at here have got a special release, so we're going to have something a little later. But
that's right. So Breckenridge announced the 2023 release of Sexy Motor Oil.
I don't know how I wasn't aware of this already. This is the third time they've done this, the third edition of Sexy. That's something I typically would have probably talked a whole bunch of shit about.
Talk about a bath liner product, Sexy Motor Oil. This is the third edition of it. It's a limited release beer barreled whiskey. Once again, they've partnered up with the folks from Breckenridge Brewery, which, if you didn't know, Breckenridge Distillery, Breckenridge Brewery, not the same folks. They're across town, which isn't that far because it's Breckenridge, but different folks. But they've paired up with them, and they've put their whiskey in those beer barrels, bring out flavors of tropical banana and apple, with some dark chocolate, caramel, honey. So it sounds like something perfect for Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, it's only available in the Breckenridge Distillery tasting room. And it's on sale as of 2 days ago. So February 10th is when it was available. So if you are local or can get up there, or you have someone local, you might want to grab yourself a bottle of this and check out what it's all about. But to Bob, what he was saying, last year, Steve Coombs and I went out to Breckenridge, and we picked one of my favorite picks of the year was a private barrel from Breckenridge. It's their own juice, high proof, absolutely fucking fantastic. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of snafu in communications, and it didn't get barreled at the proof that we wanted, which was barrel proof. So the good folks at Breckenridge worked out something with us, and we are redoing our pick, and we're actually doing a virtual pick this time. So they're going to send us a whole bunch of samples, and members in the Drink Curious community are able to throw their name in the hat to be involved in that, and we'll do a community pick, and everyone will get samples sent to them, and we'll get on with the master distiller from the distillery, and we'll walk through and we'll select that next pick, which will hopefully hit sometime in June or July at the latest, which will be another fantastic barrel pick to look forward to us. And something I want to mention, because Bob kept raving on that KO distillery pick. One of the things that we do in the community is we invite the master distillers from the distilleries where we choose barrels from. And we do a live review tasting. So with KO, we'll have a couple folks from the KO brand on that. We'll invite community members. We've even started opening these up to the broader Bourbon and Banter community, but it's a lot more fun if you actually have one of the bottles to enjoy. And they're going to lead us through a little bit about their distillery, the background, the information. They're going to talk about the barrel we picked, what they think about it, because obviously they do a lot of barrel picks with a lot of groups, so they're going to talk about ours specifically. And then we're going to open it up for questions. So it's a great opportunity for folks to have some FaceTime, literally, with the brand folks, and ask your burning questions, find out about their techniques, their processes, why they grew a beard, why they didn't have any hair in their head, whatever it may be. They're going to answer those questions.
Is Redbeard going to be there?
Oh, yeah, Peter will be there. Peter Mowry, he's fantastic. Go. He'll be there. He is one of the most passionate brand ambassadors and folks I've ever met, so he's fantastic. He'll be there. I'm not sure else who's going to be there, but it'll be a good time. And, once again, we sent invites out via the Bourbon and Banter email list. So if you're not signed up, make sure you do that. And we're going to be doing these as well for Wyoming, for Traverse City, for French Lick. And we're also working on ones for Maker Mark and Knob Creek as well. So great chance to meet and hang out with some very, very cool people, even if you don't have the barrel pick available at the time of the call. So check that out as well. Last on the new release is Yellowstone. Our friends at Yellowstone are releasing an American single malt this spring. It's going to be 4 years and bottled at 108 proof. And it will be available nationwide starting in March at a suggested retail price of $55. And this is a 100% barley malt mash bill that, by just the definition of being a single malt, is going to be totally different than its whiskey, or its bourbon, I should say. So it's going to be something a little bit different. And this is, another step for distilleries kind of going after that new American single malt standard that was released and announced, and trying to convince people to drink more of this. So I have not had a sample of it yet, so I can't comment on it, but definitely looking forward to see what the Stephen Beam and the team there have come up with the single malt category. Whew, that's a hell of a lot of whiskey, dude.
That's a lot of whiskey, man. That's a lot of whiskey.
And we didn't even hit most of them. I mean, there's so much stuff coming out.
There's a lot. There's a lot of stuff coming. There's a lot of stuff that's been announced since we last spoke to each other. But one thing that we actually have gotten kind of an under the radar scoop on is you want to talk about oddities, man.
Always.
And they, apparently the oddities are continuing over at Tamworth Distillery with their new Chitter Chitter Bang Bang bourbon. So, New Hampshire's most infamous distillery, Tamworth Distilling, known for infusing whiskey with everything from turkey to beaver to crab. We had that
crab trapper
shit, the crab shit. And I told you, it was a crab or turkey that we had, something we had, and I started yelling. But anyway, they're looking to take their oddity whiskeys to a whole new level with a 2-year-old straight bourbon infused with pig intestines.
What the?
Yes, that's right, pig intestines, better known as chitterlings or chitlins.
Now I get it. Okay, now I got it.
Yeah, the actual proper spelling is chitterlings, but everybody will say chitlins. So Matt Power, the Tamworth distiller, he was on a drive one afternoon, a few hours west of the distillery. He actually stopped in at Whistle Pig in nearby Vermont, just across the way there. And surrounded by pigs and a lot of young whiskey, apparently Power had an idea to fuse the two together in a unique way that hadn't been done before. Barbecue and bourbon go hand in hand, as does most soul food with bourbon, but one specific soul food staple that has never been paired with bourbon, at least that he was aware of, and you and I have never heard of this, Pops, somebody putting chitlins in a bourbon. So Power cooks the delicacy every Thanksgiving, apparently, but his family was always off-put by the horrid smell, that was a result, and I guess very few people would ever eat them or even try them. I've never tried them. There's something about, starting with 50 pounds of stuff and ending up with 5 pounds after you cleaning and cooking them. It's just not that appealing, And, it's intestines, folks. It's pig intestines. Chitlins are pig intestines. When you tell somebody they're really full of shit, that's what a bucket of chitlins is. It's full of shit. You got to clean them like 10 times. And anyway, so Power looked to take the cooked chitlins. He smoked them for an additional 3 hours over low heat with cherry wood, and then chopped them up and put them in mason jars with 2-year-old bourbon just to see what happened. He tried them 6 weeks later and was pleasantly surprised to have a pour that reflected the sweet and smoky nose and palate, and it gave the young bourbon more depth.
And didn't taste like
shit. So they didn't. Yeah, exactly. I guess it didn't taste like shit. I guess they cleaned them properly. So they did an experimental batch using a short barrel. And he reached out to Whistle Pig to see if he could partner with them to use the chitlins rendered from the pigs there, but they passed on that. I guess they didn't want to get in all that shit. Instead, he went with locally grown product from nearby Whitegates Farm in Tamworth, New Hampshire. So the limited edition spirit will be marketed under the name Chitter Chitter Bang Bang Bourbon. Be sold at 375 milliliter bottles at the distillery's gift shop to gauge initial interest, and then they'll go from there and see if they want to do this again. But I don't know. Chitter Chitter Bang Bang. I never thought I would see chitlins and bourbon together, but apparently that's coming. It'll be available. They're looking at late March, early April.
You never expected to see whiskey made from green crabs either, right?
No, that's true. That's true.
Or a Thanksgiving turkey dinner. Actually, someone would do that, right? Because they did that one as well, right? That one that we tried.
Yeah, Thanksgiving turkey. Well, that and the whole fucking Cleveland, pressed the Thanksgiving.
Oh, and then this Tamworth is when it did the whole thing with the beaver musk. Or
whatever. The Eau de Musk,
the
beaver.
Musk.
Yeah, it was weird. I first saw that. I thought it was it just looked very, very odd. I thought it was from a strip club, but no, it wasn't. It was a different kind of thing.
I can see the reviews right now. It's going to be awful bourbon. Use the term awful, which refers to the sweetbreads, meats, and things of that nature. Oh, my God.
See, people say that, and I think sweetbreads. I'm thinking, give me some cheese Danish with my bourbon. That's fantastic. Or apple Danish, pecans,
I see now.
Brown sugar, those kind of things. When I think sweetbreads, I think of
Bob,
goods.
blends a barrel of bourbon, calls it sweetbreads. You don't know if it tastes like shit or tastes like Danish. End result of it.
I can guarantee you, if I did some shit like that, it would taste like Danish.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm glad Whistle Pig's not involved, because if so, that $375 would be like $400, and I don't believe
$450.
I think
but what does the topper look like? Is it just like curled up shit on the top, or what the hell is it? That's how do you make that out of pewter? I just hope they don't have like an air freshener that goes with it. You scratch and sniff type of thing that you hang in the car. Pops is just shaking his head. This is why the Bourbon and Banter Fucks team is better than anybody else.
So the question that I have, though, is with the name Chitter Chitter Bang Bang, is it Chitter Chitter : Bang Bang?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just Chitter Chitter Bang Bang.
Okay.
Chitter Chitter Bang Bang.
My joke just flew right over your head, didn't it?
It did. But our forensic undercover knowledge seekers, man, the fucks, they do.
And Erin's gonna try this one for us. She's already all over this one. She's signed up. She's signed to release waivers and everything. That's one of the things with Bourbon and Banter as we enter our next chapter is we've got to have liability coverage for all this shit because shit's getting crazy. Well, you know what? I've come this far, so if we get a sample, I'll give it a try.
You try it. I don't know that I can do it, man.
At least it's not like, infused and strained is good. If it was like macerated and left in, that would be a problem.
Yeah, no, I don't know. No, you don't want to macerate it. You know what kind of shit's going to be in there.
Just think of all the whiskey and barbecue pairing dinners that will come out of this. This will be fantastic.
That's true. Or, the greens, bourbon-soaked greens with the chitlins next to it, and you got a little cornbread, and, now I'm getting hungry.
Well, there you go. See, you might drink it anyway. Never know.
All
right. Well, I don't know how we're going to top that, but I think it's time we switch a little bit gears, and we're going to check out something a little bit new today. Instead of a craft shoot, let's talk celebrity whiskey.
We are always ones to be very vocal on celebrity whiskeys. And it is rare for us to actually try something from the celebrity whiskey space that actually makes us say, that is fantastic, and I think we're going to go for that. And I think Pops is you wanted to get the pop on there? He just opened his bottle.
Just being me. So today, we are, this is not blind. This is a bottle of Silver Belly Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. For those country music fans in the audience, Silver Belly, as you know, refers to the hat that Alan Jackson, country music performer, is known for. The
color of the hat,
right?
Alan Jackson.
And so this is his celebrity whiskey. There is technically no age statement, but right off the bat, it says that this is a minimum of 2 years in new oak. All right, so this is going to be young. The distiller on the label is Silver Screen Distilling Company, but we know that it is made at Green River Distilling, which is one of our favorite distilleries with the Green River bourbon that came out last year. This is 91 proof, 78% corn, 13% rye, 9% malted barley with a SRP of $40. So kudos for him for not breaking that 50. He's more in line with the Bradshaw price point, which coincidentally is also made at Green River.
Oh, yeah, well, but except I like Alan Jackson. I've always liked Alan Jackson. Terry Bradshaw can fuck off.
No, Alan Jackson. Now, one thing that's kind of fun.
As I say that on Super Bowl Sunday, fuck off, Terry.
Before we get into this, once again, looking for clever marketing, Alan Jackson has aligned these releases with his song titles. So each batch or release of this is going to be aligned with a song. So this is year 1990, chart number 1, title Wanted. So that's what this one is released around. So you're going to see different chart titles on the label moving forward. Once again, does it really mean anything to what's in the bottle? Absolutely not. But if you're an Alan Jackson fan, it'll mean something to you. And I can imagine an Alan Jackson fan having 30 or 40 bottles of these on a shelf in a couple of years. As a fan,
you got the don't rock the jukebox bottle.
Yep.
The way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
Right.
Chattahoochee. Is that a river or a stripper? I always wondered that.
Can it be both?
Well, I guess it could be.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's tell the fans what we got going on here.
Well, crafted in honor of classic bourbon style whiskey, Silver Belly tips its hat to the spirit at the heart of this country. Its smooth texture, and medium light body make it perfect to sip neat at the end of a long day, to raise and toast of celebration mixed in your favorite old-fashioned or Manhattan cocktail. So let's see what goes on here.
Sweet.
I get a lot of ethanol on this.
No, I don't have ethanol.
And a little bit of corn.
Got her sister Hazel on the nose, but corn, sweetness.
It smells really, really young.
But you know what? It smells young, but it doesn't have that overpowering young oak smell to it. Let's go ahead and get into it. Young, but once again, not that green oaks flavor, just lack of sophisticated vanilla caramel buildup. Sweet. It's not my flavor profile. It's awfully weak. It's thin on the mouthfeel. It's thin on the flavors. Once again, in many ways, kind of like I was describing that corn whiskey earlier, it feels like somebody's kind of watered down bourbon. It almost tastes like watered down Green River, which makes sense because it's the same mash bill. It's about half the age, if not a little younger, and the proof is fairly close. I'm looking for a bottle of Green River in my office here. Hold on.
I think Green River's at 90.
Yeah, Green River's at 90, so we're right at the same.
This is 91, but Green River is much more defined profile than this.
Yeah, I'm pouring a little bit of
just very light and
Green
very
River
light
in a glass
and
here.
nondescript.
Yeah, I mean, Green River's a couple shades darker.
Now maybe they were going for light to match his hat and his hair, perhaps. True celebrity bourbon.
I mean, here's the deal. If you like stronger, bolder, assertive bourbon flavors, you're going to find this one a little wimpy. Just the reality of it. If you're fairly new to bourbon, like you're drinking like the 80 proof Basil Hayden's or whatever, you might actually like this. I think what's interesting about this, and I don't know enough about distilling, so I'll admit that, is if this one is just over 2 years old, it doesn't have that young barrel syndrome that so many brands have that create this unbalanced mess. This is balanced. It's just young. But you know what? If you're going to mix this in something, you're probably not going to have an issue with it whatsoever.
And if you're a fan of Alan Jackson's and you're just looking for something to drink on a hot summer day, you'd probably be good with this.
All right. So factor in that the bourbon, there's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just young. The fact that he's keeping it under $50. I can't really ever endorse a celebrity bourbon, but this is at least I'm not going to get pissy about this one. But
it's non-offensive.
But I think you can drink better for under $40 easily.
Well, that I know.
Easily.
Yeah, that we know absolutely. But this is going to be for the folks that are fans of his. If you're fans of his, you want something different.
Yeah. So
try it at
here
a bar,
you go.
See if you like it.
If you're a fan, this is definitely a bar, maybe a bottle because you're a fan. If you're anybody else, try it at a bar just so you can check it off. There's too many other good things to drink for less money. I would still pick a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 any day over this.
Well, now that kind of goes without saying. I think we would pick a bottle of Wild Turkey 101 over most craft distillery offerings. And when I say most, I mean like 90% craft distillery offerings when you really think about it.
All right. Well, Alan, welcome to the bourbon game. That's about all I can say. And thanks for not totally dicking people over with the price point. Brad Paisley should take note from you because, quite frankly, at $40 a bottle versus his $99 a bottle, I'd rather drink the Silver Belly because I'd be able to sleep at night.
Well, yeah, he could take some other lessons from him too on how to write a decent fucking song.
Well, that sounds like a cue if I've ever heard one to move into soon.
Hey, there you go,
Bourbon
man.
bullshit, brother. Let's do it. All right, so it is time, my friends, to break beyond the bounds of gravity. As two large men who find gravity to be unfairly treating us on a daily basis, it's time to get, beyond the clouds, as they say. It's time to go intergalactic. What did you say?
Intergalactic bullshit.
Well, you know what? You may not be able to smell the shit in space, but if it hits you in the face, it's still shit.
That's right. That's right.
And we're looking at you, Mystic Farms and Distillery, because you announced the first bourbon aged in space. And I just want to clarify, it may be the first bourbon aged in space, but it is not the first whiskey aged in space. All right, so here's the deal, folks. Mystic Farms and Distillery announced recently that the launch of Mystic Galactic. And to quote their press release, right, it's the rarest spirit ever produced, a bourbon whiskey aged for 1 year in space. So they're planning to work with innovative companies, and I think the key word is plan to work here, right? SpaceX, United Launch, Rocket Lab, Innoversion Space, and Bank of America, because that knows they need money.
Hey, I was going to say, if you think whiskey, Think Bank of America.
That's right. To finance, design, test, and build vessels to send 5 barrels of 45% wheat bourbon whiskey to low Earth orbit for 1 year of additional aging. It's going to be selected from the stock of their own product, which each barrel will be at least 3 years old, coopered by the West Virginia Great Barrel Company, and will have special features and materials designed to survive the rigors of launch, orbit, and reentry, which means basically these fuckers better not leak, right? And they're going to basically release, I think, something like 1,000 or 1,300 barrels for people to buy, and then they're going to hold back a couple hundred that they're going to sell to the public afterwards at quote-unquote market price. Now, hold on to your ass hats for this one, because this is going to shock the system. One bottle, okay, if you buy one bottle, and you get some perks with it, but for one bottle, it's going to require a $75,000 purchase deposit.
Wait a fuck. That's the fucking deposit?
Well, yeah.
How much is the fucking bottle?
No, that's the whole thing. That's the
whole thing.
Right, but you're going to have to put the money in up front.
$75,000.
Right, they're going to put it in an FDIC insured bank account, because if you don't get your bottle, like the ship blows up, then you get your money back.
$75,000.
Mm-hmm. But Bob, you're gonna like this. It comes with an NFT.
$75,000.
Yeah, which, by the way, is $10,000 less than my first house was purchased.
$75,000 for a bottle of fucking bourbon that's 3 years old.
It comes
in
in a really nice case.
$75,000.
And it comes with an NFT.
Should be an NFW. No fucking way am I spending that kind of money on this horse shit. These fucking assholes. Somebody needs to go. This is where we need to call our friends at the Louisville Slugger Bat Company and just get a whole bunch of us to go, whoever the fucking idea is, really, this is what we're doing with our fucking money? This is what we're doing. We got, Lord knows what the fuck can we help in this country, but we're going to send some fucking whiskey into outer space and charge people $75,000 fucking dollars when it comes back down, and it's 3-year-old. It's going to taste like I'm sorry. I'm wanting to throw things.
I'm just going to clarify. It's not what I'm doing with my money. You know, because I run a bourbon website, and God knows
I'm sorry. I'm sure my
$75,000.
wife is in the other room wondering what the fuck is going on, because he's yelling in there like a fucking... I'm getting livid. I'm turning the color of my shirt.
She's like, is he putting on his dress pants again?
By the way, the shirt has all the vowels taken out. It says, go fuck yourself. Would you like to buy a vowel? I wore this just for these fucking people. As it turns out. All right. Are you fucking... Anyway, continue. I'm sorry. Just mute me. Just mute me. Kill my bike.
It's getting a little chilly in here. Why don't you just vent, or why don't you just vent internally and warm up the room while I finish the details here? So you have to pick these up in person because, you know, they're priceless, assuming they make it back down. So for your $75,000, you're going to have exclusive access to an app, thank God, for real-time mission data, admission to exclusive launch and reentry parties. A handcrafted glass and machined aluminum bottles will be packed in a custom-fitted aluminum flight case with a piece of the actual oak barrel that flew in space. And now this is the only thing I give them kudos for. You're also going to get a 50 ml sample of the bourbon, so owners won't have to break the seal on their bottle to taste it. And by the way, I was reading their website. It comes with a special tool to open the bottle, which I think is a personal jab at people that you have to be a special tool to give them $75,000 for this bourbon.
That's exactly fucking right. What do we know about these horseshit assholes who offer the 50 milliliter sample because they know it's so collectible, you don't want to open a real bottle? What happened the last time these fuckers did that?
Well, you know what?
Any of these motherfuckers did that.
I did some research because other brands, Ardbeg and some other people, Beam, have either sent up or are in different stages of sending whiskey up. And when Ardbeg did it, they sent up whiskey on a Soviet child of the 80s, Russian spacecraft to go up to the space station. And they did a little testing with some oak shavings in these really tiny test tube type things. Okay, so I don't know how the fuck you send up 5 barrels. I mean, barrels are huge. Huge.
Who did that with the test tubes?
Ardbeg. Scotch.
Say that name again?
Ardbeg.
Yeah. You've heard of those motherfuckers. They know what the hell they're fucking doing. The other thing you said was Beam, right?
Beam.
They kind of know what the fuck they're doing, too.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Who the fuck are these assholes?
Well, hold on.
West Virginia fucking ridiculous pissant hole-in-a-wall distillery.
No, it's North Carolina. It's a difference.
Well, they said West Virginia was distilled in West Virginia. Didn't that say that up top? One of those ass-backwards states. I don't fucking know.
It's North Carolina. But anyway, so they're going to send this up, age it for a year, bring it back down. Now, here's the thing. You give them $75,000 up front, right? Then, over the course of the period, there will be certain events that you're invited to. So, at the end of the day, you get your bottle. If the bottles aren't harvestable, anything goes wrong, right? They will give you your money back minus any costs for any of the events or anything along the way. So let's say they have a big party the day of the launch of the rocket, and let's say your cost to be there costs $5,000. If that rocket blows up on launch, you're going to get $70,000 back. Okay? So at the end of the day, you're going to get either a bottle or less than $75,000 back because of costs associated with these events. So once again, very exclusive, very weird, and quite frankly, I question the whole science of this because the initial reports that have come back from things being launched and aged in space have not been promising. You're sending up a whole barrel in this case, which no one has done. And just the price to get those up in space has got to be ridiculous. But the reality is that bourbon, okay, gets its aging from the liquid pushing into the wood and coming back out through heat cycles. This is why Kentucky bourbon is so good, because of the climate, because of this process that happens. In space, that's not going to happen. Unless you're artificially heating these barrels, right, which they don't say, it's not going to happen. We have zero gravity. We have these barrels which are going to be contained into something which any climate that's in the spacecraft is going to be negated, right? I mean, it's worse than putting a barrel of Jefferson's in a Connex container and telling me that it was influenced by the sea air. So for me, this is, in terms of, is it going to make the bourbon better? I'm sorry, it takes a hell of a lot more than a year in space to make a 3-year-old bourbon taste better. As a piece of rare history, would it be cool to have bourbon from this? Sure. But at $75,000, I'm sorry, bourbon bullshit, 210%, quite frankly, out of this world.
You know, actually, if they want to get the barrels heated and draw that whiskey in and out of the wood, all they got to do is wrap it in the press releases for this fucking bullshit, because there's enough hot air blowing there that would do that anyway. But no, what I was seeing was the barrels are made in West Virginia. The whiskey's coming from North Carolina. So that's where the West Virginia thing
Here's
came.
the idea that's going to make us millions, Bob. Same process, but we're gonna go with somebody who's sending a craft toward the sun for exploration. The craft's going to be built so that the barrels, when you reach the close to the point of no return, will be ejected on a spacecraft to head back to Earth. And when the bourbon comes to the Earth, we're going to label it, and it's going to be called Kissed by the Sun, with the subtext of, or Kiss My Ass. And we're going to sell them for lots and lots of money.
You know, all the wasted fucking time, resources, energy, money into shit like this, I got a hell of a lot better thing to do. You know what? I'll buy that bottle of Wild Turkey 101, sit here and laugh at all you stupid motherfuckers spending $75,000 on this fucking horse shit. Kiss a 3-year-old fucking bourbon aged in space for a year for $75,000.
Well,
I got a money tree out in the backyard that I gotta, that I want to sell these people.
So I've got something that's a little bit more affordable for you, Bob. Let me throw this one at you. 78 Legends bourbon. All right. So this is something that just came out. Oh, first of all, I'm sorry. If you got $75,000 burning a hole in your pocket, go to mysticgalactic.com and learn more. That's all I'm going to say. Press releases accomplished its goal. It got us talking about it. But if you have
they changed the website. Actually, it's www.eatafuckingdick.com. You go there, and that's where you go for this shit.
Oh, I am so glad I wasn't sipping on a glass of whiskey when you said that. That would have been horrible. All right, 78 Legends bourbon, because 78 is better than one legend. I filed this under just stop this bullshit, please. So apparently This is a proprietary blend of 55-year-old and 50-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon, 55-year-old and 5-year-old Kentucky bourbon, dipped in Kentucky blue wax and signed exclusively by Kyle Macy, Jack Goose Givens, and Ricky Roby. Only 1,978 bottles we produce. Each bottle is numbered 1 to 1978 and packages a cut and wooden tug and groove display case. I can't even take this seriously.
This is the shit that they put out a couple years, like 5 years ago, right? Isn't that what this is?
Yeah.
The shit that they couldn't sell that everybody threw back at them?
Oh, yeah. So this is, and I'm trying to pull up the website, and even the website's not, there we go, 70 Legends. Legends aren't born, they're made. Okay, great. Marketing, whatever, raising money for whatever. This is whiskey left. This was Buddy Thompson's final reserve, if I understand my facts right. That I and a few other members in the community had a chance to try a number of years ago at an event. And it was the worst fucking whiskey I've ever put in my mouth. There's a reason you don't see bourbon over 20, 23 years old on a regular basis. It's because it tastes like you're chewing a fucking tree limb. It's god.
I was going to say, I just had some, I almost had some. I have a tree out in the yard and I fell down and ate a bunch of dirt and that shit, and it tasted just like this from what I understand.
So I think when we tried it, the whiskey was like 42, 44 years old.
42 to 45 years old.
And now it's 50 years, and they're rebottling it, and they're blending in some 5-year. And, 5-year bourbon can be perfectly fine, right? It's within, the 46-year-old sweet spot to pick up vanillas and caramels from the extraction from the barrel. But, I mean, you'd have to be like 99% 5-year-old bourbon and 1% 50-year-old bourbon for this to have a fighting chance of tasting anything decent. To kind of give a little context, when that other stuff came out, the Final Reserve came out, they were selling gift sets. You got a bottle, you got a little 50 mil, you got a piece of the barrel, and a glass. And I think a nice gift set, and I think they were selling for $1,500 or so. Leading up to the dinner where they were going to let the people in the audience like ourselves taste it. And we had noticed on the secondary market, these gift sets were going for $5,000 leading up to the dinner. The dinner happened and people start posting. All right. Yours truly as well. And immediately all sales stopped.
Yeah, it went for that kind of money until they started cracking those little sample bottles. And then everybody realized it was shit.
Oh, we tried it at the dinner.
Nobody can.
I did a little video and I summed it up like this. Imagine, all right, that you're on a float trip, and people in Missouri do a lot of float trips. So you're canoeing down a river and you see a tree that's half in the water, half on the bank, but it's looked like it's been there down for like 10, 15 years. And you look under the water and the tree limb looks like it's still intact, but there's moss on it or whatever. Imagine for some reason you're compulsed to reach down and try to pick that up. And you manage to bring some of it up as it crumbles into mud, and you bite into it. And you're immediately hit by this taste of rotten, wet wood, only to seconds later have your mouth totally vacated of all moisture like you've been invaded by the Sahara Desert. That's what drinking the Final Reserve tasted like. And if that wasn't bad enough, they then came around with a second sample, which had sherry added to it. Because, according to Bill Thomas from Jack Rose, who was there helping MC the event, in the old days when bourbon would get too old, right, had been in the barrel too long, they would add a little sherry to help doctor it, make it better. It fucked that shit up. I mean, it was even worse, and it was god-awful. It was, quite frankly, the worst bourbon I've ever put in my mouth. And once again, check the bucket list for having had it. But nobody needs to be drinking that. So now that they're taking that and doctoring it 5-year-old, once again, have they come up with a ratio that makes it work? Maybe. But almost $2,000 for a bottle of it? Fuck me. Come on. This shit's got to stop. I don't care. I don't care what it's raising money for. This is ridiculous.
I can't offer anything. I mean, it's stupidity is running rampant in the whiskey industry. And this kind of fucking horse shit, Christ. You know what they need to do? They just need to send that barrel up to space and then piss it out the back of that fucking rocket with the other one. And fuck it, let it just go up there and whoever to fucking get it.
Well, I will tell you, my advice on this one. This is what I posted in the group. I think I said something to the fact that it sucked then. It's likely to suck even more now. Unless it's 99% mediocre 5-year-old bourbon and a splash of wood juice masquerading as 50-year-old bourbon, in which case you way overpaid for the mediocre bourbon. Save your $1,978 and go lick a log from the river, and you'll be ahead of the game with the bonus of some outdoor exercise. So, in the immortal words of Forrest Gump, that's all I'm going to say about that. So let's bring bourbon bullshit home, Bob, with maybe a controversial take on a situation. So I'll tee it up and see where it goes. But Blue Run Spirits. Blue Run Spirits has been on a tear, growing leaps and bounds, putting out some interesting blends and whiskey sourced from others, getting our favorite Jim Rutledge involved. But they've also attached a high price tag, right? Some ex-Nike executives and others involved with this brand. And they're definitely building a lifestyle brand around the whiskey that they're putting out there. So they have just announced they're launching, their words, the Ultimate Private Whiskey Barrel Program, doubling down on commitment to ultra-premium consumer experiences. So what they're doing is they're launching a single barrel program, all right, or a private barrel program, I should say, because there is a difference, featuring elements similar to the most exciting aspects in collegiate and professional sports. Officially dubbed as Chosen, the program is designed to give consumers a much more engaging experience than simply thieving whiskey from a barrel and receiving a co-branded bottle, which, just for the record, still is cool as hell. Mm-hmm. Right? I find nothing about it not engaging, but once again, there's always room for improvement, so I'll step aside and keep going. It's going to launch in February. The private barrel program starts with a scouting season. As Blue Run seeks out retailers and organizations that share the company's values and vision for a broader, more diverse whiskey community, and automatically brings them on board. The day after the Super Bowl, which is tomorrow, the portal opens, and this is an online experience that will give interested parties the opportunity to throw their name in the proverbial hat for a chance to select their very own barrel. And potential draftees will be asked about their organization, probed on what kind of whiskey they want, the design of their labels, and things of that nature. And then on March 23rd is the Blue Run Draft Day. Apparently with the same pomp and circumstance of the NBA, MLB, and NFL drafts, every qualified entry from the portal, which will go into the barrel, inspired by a lottery wheel, and one by one, 16 people will be, quote-unquote, chosen, hence the name of the Chosen. And it's going to be live streamed on multiple platforms, and we'll have an invite-only live audience, and take place at the whiskey partner Bardstown Bourbon Company, which is one of the places they source bourbon from and blend and bottle at. From there, the season begins with the Chosen, and they will directly work with Wade, who is the private barrel program manager, through the spring and midsummer to curate a fashion. Work with him in a curated fashion to uncover the profile of the whiskey best suited for them. They'll select either a single barrel or create a micro blend, which is why it's not a single barrel program, right? It's just a private barrel program. And then they will be set aside and then blended together or bottled. And then in the fall, they will have the Blue Run Butterfly Gala, which is apparently going to be a VIP launch party to showcase the creativity of each private selection. I love this. Not dissimilar to the ESPYs, which I've watched all of 0 times in my life. Guests will get to sample a variety of the whiskeys from the program. In addition to meeting the other participants and those who submitted, there will be superlatives awarded for the best barrel, best blend, and best design. And you know how much I love an award show. Now, here's the kicker. Blue Run estimates each barrel will yield an average of 170 to 215 bottles. Picks can include single barrels or micro blends that are at least 2 barrels, but not more than 4. The base SRP will be $199 per bottle. Now, that's the SRP. Blue Run can't control what your retail partner you run it through will sell it for. But I did the quick math. At $200 a bottle, assuming 170 bottle yield at the low end, that's $34,000 you're going to pay for this experience. Compared to Four Roses, which is one of our proverbial favorites, right? Their barrel price is going up, so retail is going to be $100 or so, depending on how much you get gouged. So $100 probably a little optimistic, but at $100, the same yield, you're at $17,000 a barrel retail. So the Blue Run is coming in at double the price of a Four Roses single barrel.
The fuck out of here. $200 a bottle, $34,000 a barrel, sourced from either BBC or someplace else, done up with all this other bullshit to hide the fact that you're probably getting stuff that's okay. But are you fucking kidding me? You could get a barrel of Four Roses and Russell's Reserve combined for less than this. Really? This is the ultra premium? This is just for a bunch of really rich pricks who want to go out there and say, hey, look what we did. Who's going to be buying this shit?
So $34,000, and they're going to do 50 of these. $1.7 million. Now here's what I can tell you. I can it used to be, I'm sure the pricing was a little bit different, but it used to be you could buy 25 or so barrels of whiskey from MGP for, $1,000 a barrel. Maybe it's a little bit more. Let's say $40,000. So $80,000, you can buy the same number of barrels and let them age. $40,000 versus $1.7 million.
Who is the market for this?
Well,
seriously.
So here's the question.
Who is the market for this?
Here's the question. They talk about a vision for a broader, more diverse whiskey community. I don't want to.
That's not fucking broader and diverse. How the fuck are you telling me that a $34,000 barrel is going to be broaden and diversify your fucking audience? Kiss my ass. You want to broaden and diversify your audience, make the shit affordable and quality, and let regular folk be a part of what you're doing. Not paying $34,000 for a fucking barrel of sourced bourbon at $200 a bottle once you get it out there. That doesn't diversify shit. Doesn't broaden anything. Fucking kiss my ass.
I applaud the more engaging and like a unique experience, but to then charge that sort of markup for it, that I don't get it. It's exclusionary, right? It's for the rich people who have more money than common sense to do this. And I don't see how this benefits. I mean, it's not like they've said, 25% of this money will go to drive diversity programs or inclusion programs, right? It just goes to the bottom line. So for me, this is a huge, huge money grab for people who are after nothing but prestige, which, to be fair, they can build the brand any way they want, right? And they can go after the market any way they want. But the fact that they're tying it to this whole diversity type thing, and then making it a premium, I mean, this is beyond any premium scale that I know that
exists. It's a super, super premium thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Uber premium.
It just doesn't connect the dots bullshit for me, right? It just doesn't make sense. And
we've been educating people with this podcast and with Bourbon and Banter for going into 11 years. And the only thing that, can combat horse shit like this is folks just not buying it. I mean, I don't know anybody that hasn't been given a bottle of Blue Run. It's like, oh, I got to go buy that shit.
No, I mean, they have some solid stuff, but it's always been expensive. And
for $200, it's $200 a bottle.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, my bottom line philosophy has always been that if 1 + 1 can equal 3, and then it's priced appropriate for what that 3 is compared to what's relative on market from original providers, then it's a good value. I mean, Barrel Craft Spirits, many of the things that they did before they start doing this hyper age stuff, which commanded the higher prices, delivered on that, right? They were a good example, right? They take something from here, something here, from something here, and they create something better, and then they charge me, 30% more. I'm cool with that because I can't get it anywhere else. Now, Blue Run, starting a distillery, 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 years, we're going to see some of their whiskey in the market. Are they going to have enough of a brand presence to be able to command premium prices, or are they going to have to reset once that's launched? But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be real fucking hard pressed for anybody's 4 to 6 year old bourbon to be worth more than, $60 in 4 to 6 years. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you start at $200 now with the source. Where are you going to go from there?
Right.
Really?
Right. So, I mean, if you want to charge me $34,000 and then you're flying me around to all these meetings and you're doing all this shit and there's more than just this other stuff, which doesn't have a big cost. I mean, once again, brilliant marketing, very creative. But at the end of the day, I don't think, basically you're telling me that the experience is worth $17,000. And we're not even factoring in the sense that the person who picks the single barrel or does the micro blend may not know anything. They may pick something that most people don't like, which, happens with any single barrel. So it's no really different there. But once again, the price tag is not going to be based on the quality of the whiskey, and we don't know where the whiskey's coming from. Right. So it's a big commitment because you're committing to the full barrel. Unless a retailer wants to split it with you. So once again, I'm going to put this on Bourbon Bullshit. Once again, the folks there have always been nice. They've treated us well. We've tried their whiskey. There's been some good stuff. There's been some better stuff. The price has always been a little questionable. This one's jumped the shark for me. And this for me, especially under the guise of diversity and inclusion, doesn't read honest to me. Doesn't read true. So we got to call bullshit.
Maybe they're going to package it in a special black bottle in a black container, and that gives you the extra $20,000, $30,000 cost of the barrel. Maybe that's what's happening. Who knows? Maybe it's going to come in a black box.
Maybe they're going to use that the blackest black that exists.
The blackest black, yes.
Right. So if you set the black,
maybe that's what it is.
Fuck if I don't know. I there's no way to justify this. I'm sorry, guys.
But there's it's just so much shit.
Yeah,
I want to see who's buying all this shit.
Yeah,
all this uber hyper aged horse shit. I'm sorry, uber hyper priced horse shit. Who is sitting there buying this?
So what's the better investment? $34,000 barrel of Blue Run, or a $75,000 Intergalactic? If you had the money to waste.
If I had the money to waste, I still wouldn't waste it.
No. You got to answer. If you had the money and it was a pittance for you, what's your call? I know where I would go.
My call would be to hire somebody to take the people out who make the decisions for these things. That would be my call.
All right. Well, you're just not going to play. But I would say that if I had to spend the money of those two and it was like pocket change to me, I'd back the Intergalactic. Because
would you?
I would, because you know what? The value of that has nothing to do with what the fucking whiskey tastes like.
See, if I was forced to take one, I'd take the barrel. I'm always going to take a barrel.
But see,
because I don't give a fuck about the.
But see, at that point, with all that money in the world, I can buy other barrels, which will be just as good and cheaper.
True,
right?
But if I got to take one, I'm going to take that one.
Fair enough.
Even though they're both fucking stupider than shit.
All right, folks. There we are. That has been a whirlwind. But that brings us to the end of the 31st episode of the podcast, or according to the new numeralical counting system inspired by some of our brands featured this evening. This has been our 1,363rd podcast episode. Now, if you could do the math and reverse back how we got to that number, we're going to get you a bottle of Blue Run. So send your answers to podcast@bourbonbanter.com. Once again, be succinct. I don't need to see, don't show your work. I don't need to see that. Right? We're college level here. Just give us the answer of how you worked out that math, and you could win a bottle of an upcoming Blue Run barrel release. All right. If you have feedback, once again, send it to podcast@bourbonbanter.com. And according to our terms and conditions, if it's a positive review, we will share it. If it is a negative review, we will delete it. But more importantly, if you've enjoyed this, even just a little bit, okay, visit us at podcast.bourbonbanter.com. Check out some of the other podcasts, but more importantly, go on Apple, give us a 5-star review, write a little nice words about us. And if we see it, we may feature on a future podcast, and Bob may actually record and send you a personal serenade. Wouldn't that be nice? Help you go to bed at night.
Would it be? Do people really want to hear my voice before they go to bed? This big guy whose blood pressure raises about 40 points every time we do one of these fucking things?
I think they would, Bob. If they're listening, there definitely are folks. So, but thank you guys once again for listening. We got some exciting stuff coming up. 2023 is going to be a great year. Bob and I are going to be bigger and better than ever. And if the Doritos don't do it, the donuts will. But on behalf of everyone at Bourbon and Banter, thanks again. And remember, folks, if you're going to drink,
drink curious.
Well, what's your preference?
Bourbon, if you got it.
Bourbon from Kentucky.
I should certainly fucking hope so.